And the key takeaway here is invest in your network before you have to extract value from your network. You are now tuned in to Upskill Professionals, helping you forge a path upward. Because once you stop forecasting your future performance based on your past failures, you'll soon begin to realize just how within reach new heights truly are. Once again, my name is Chris. I'm your career coach here at Upskill Professionals. And today we do have a bit of a different setup. I hope you like it. And if so, make sure you drop a comment in the comment section. But listen, your network is an investment. When it comes time for you to pursue that next big opportunity or to take that next big step along your career journey, it's not going to be those surface level connections, the people who you met at a business conference once, who are going to provide you the support that you need to be successful. Think about it. How likely is someone that you've only met once to put their best foot forward when helping you? How likely are they to recommend you for an opportunity over someone that they've known for years? Instead, what you need is deep connections that stand the test of time. Those people in your network who are going to advocate for you in rooms that you don't have access to. And so, this video today is all about how you go about creating those types of professional connections, nurturing the relationships that you have to build those relationships that will pay dividends in the future. And the first tip that I have for you is to lead with curiosity. And so, leading with curiosity is all about taking every opportunity to ask your professional connections thought provoking, genuine, and authentic questions, not just about their career and how work is going, but also about some of their personal interests, hobbies, and perhaps, where appropriate, even their personal or family life. And take note of birthdays, holidays that are important to them, kids' names, anniversaries, these types of details which you can reference in future conversations, which again build that sense of closeness and create the space to have more deep conversations. But also make sure that you follow up on these major milestones in a timely manner. And when you do, don't just offer a congratulations. Offer a thought provoking question, offer a kind gesture. And so, an example of this is, let's just say you have a professional connection whose 10-year anniversary is coming up. Don't just reach out and say, hey, congratulations on the 10th anniversary. No, pick up the phone, give them a call, and ask them a question like, 10th anniversary, that's amazing. How have you managed to build and maintain the successful relationship while also blazing a path upward in your career? Again, this is a conversation starter that shows that you remembered their anniversary, but also you're inquiring about something that's two things, really, that are especially of interest to that person. Now, the second tip that I have for you is make sure that you are keeping track of those major dates and future touch points that you want to follow up on. And so, as you continue to build trust and rapport with your professional connections, the conversations will naturally become a little bit more informal, a little bit more genuine. And this is where people begin to divulge naturally some of the details that may be of importance to you when it comes to tailoring future communications to show that you're actively listening, to show that you're taking an interest in your professional connections life, like some of the important dates, like parents' names or family member locations. And so, as you continue to build out your network and as you continue to nurture your professional connections, you will come to learn very quickly that there is a vast body of knowledge that you have to manage. And so, I encourage professionals to create a repository of some of these key details that you can reference later and refresh your memory on. Don't be afraid to schedule calendar reminders for people's birthdays or anniversaries. So that way you never miss the opportunity to reach out in a timely manner to congratulate them on some of those key items or milestones. And this can really mean the difference between having a conversation with a professional connection and saying something like, hey, isn't one of your kids' birthdays coming up? versus, hey, I know Brian's birthday is coming up. I was just in Target the other day and I saw this cool new robotic dinosaur with a remote control that they released. I'm going to send you the link because I know he likes dinosaurs. He might like it. And see, one of those comments is building a sense of trust, building depth and connection. The other is a little off putting, honestly. For example, the professional connection might think, I've mentioned my kid's name to this person 10 times and they can't even remember the name. And so the small details are important. Sweat the details and weave them naturally into your future interactions and conversations. And then the third tip that I have for you is take the opportunity to meet people in person. Look, I'm going to keep this one short, sweet, and to the point. I know that we're on the other side of the pandemic and we're really enjoying this hybrid or work from anywhere model. But the reality of the situation is there is no substitute for in person interaction. There's nothing like having the opportunity to shake someone's hand or give them a hug and look them in the eye as you're having a conversation. So I implore you to set up a cadence at whatever frequency feels comfortable for your particular relationship with your professional connections to help create that sense of depth. And again, in person interactions provide greater context into what that person is like. How many times have you had conversations with someone for months virtually, whether over the phone or via teleconferencing, and then you had the opportunity to meet in person and you said to yourself, wow, I didn't know that this person was that tall, or wow, I didn't know this person was really into shoes. I never got to see that on camera. And so, again, those in person interactions give you more visibility into some of those personal details, which will help you have more tailored conversations in the future. And then the third tip or piece of advice that I have for you when it comes to nurturing your network is continuously seek ways to add value. The advice that I've given you up until now is all about how you leverage some of those small and personal details to curate more meaningful interactions with your professional connections and create depth on the soft skills side of things. But at the crux of business, at the crux of professional networks, is this idea and the execution upon value exchange, right? So you bring people into your professional network because you believe that they add value and can create opportunity for you in the future and vice versa. And so, how do you create value? Well, the first thing that you can do is simply ask at the end of your conversations with your professional connections, ask them, hey, is there anything that I can help you with today? Is there anything that I can do to help you along your career journey? The other proactive, more thoughtful way to go about delivering value to your professional connections is to first understand what are their career objectives and goals? What are their professional passions? What are some of the challenges that they're facing with the work that they do on a day to day basis? And this empowers you to leverage future information and resources to deliver value to that professional connection. For example, let's say that there's someone in your network who has a real passion for AI and financial operations. Well, let's say that you are searching the news one day and come across an article that talks about how AI is impacting financial operations. You can then shoot them a message and say, hey, I came across this article that I think you may really be interested in. Check it out when you get a chance. And this allows the opportunity for that person to be introduced to new information, which may be useful to them in their current business environment, thus delivering value. The other way to go about this is to create connection points, right? So let's say, for example, you attend a business conference and meet a director in the financial sector who works at another company. Well, take that piece of information and reach out to your connection and say something to the effect of, hey, I was at a business conference the other day. I met this person in the financial sector, and I think they'd be a great connection for you. I was talking about some of the work that you do to them, and they seemed very interested. I'd love to make that touch point if you're open to it. And again, this is the type of play, this is the type of interaction that shows that you are being thoughtful. It shows that as you come across new information, as you come across new resources, you are keeping your professional connections top of mind and continuously seeking ways to deliver value. And I call this a play because you want to become a playmaker for your network. You want to be the person who is connecting people to people of value and to information of value. And so the last tip that I have for you today is going to be provide feedback on the advice they give you. And so, if you reached out to a professional connection and asked them for guidance or their input on a particular situation, make sure that you reach back out if you implemented that advice and say something to the effect of, "Hey, thanks for that advice. It was really helpful. I ended up taking this action and this is how it worked out for me." Or if you ended up forwarding the advice that they gave you to someone else in your network, you could reach back out and say something like, "Hey, remember that advice you gave me? Well, one of my mentees ended up running into a very similar situation, and I gave them your advice. This is how it turned out for them." Or even if you're just thinking about some of the advice that a professional connection gave you and that helped you derive further insights, reach back out and say, "Hey, remember that conversation we were having last week? Well, I was thinking about it, and what do you think about this?" And again, these are important tactics for nurturing your network because at the foundation of business, at the foundation of networking, is this idea and execution upon value exchange. It is a two-way street. And so, just as you want to continuously add value to your professional connections, employing these tactics confirms for your connections that they are also adding value to you and they also show that they are being heard. And so, again, very important when it comes to creating depth, creating a meaningful connection and relationship. And so, those are the key pieces of advice I have for you when it comes to nurturing your network. Number one, lead with curiosity, ask thought provoking questions. Number two, create that calendar of important milestones and the repository of those personal details. This is going to help you have tailored and meaningful interactions with your professional network. Number three, meet in person. Number four, seek ways to continuously add value to your professional connections. And then number five, provide feedback on some of the advice and the value that you receive. And listen, this advice may sound like a lot of work, but what you'll come to find is that when you surround yourself with truly interesting and valuable connections, it's really more so a pleasure than a burden. And the key takeaway here is invest in your network before you have to extract value from your network. So when you nurture these connections and these relationships, and then have to tap into your network for support on that next big career move, what you'll find is that your investment is much more likely to pay healthy dividends. And then also, as you do network, cast your net wide, but be judicious about who you bring into your network, and then anchor deep. Also, keeping in mind that some connections are only meant to serve for a season, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So, if you did receive value from this video, which I hope you did, make sure that you hit the like button. Make sure that you also subscribe to the YouTube channel and click that notification bell so that you can be apprised of new content as it does drop weekly. And a career is a long journey to sojourn without a guide. So, if you don't believe that you can do better, I'm here to make sure you know better. Upskill professionals, helping you forge a path upward.